was frustrations. I will write a letter for you, but he was frustrated, expressing all of that. Called me, and I did try to address some of the issue. But when he was expressing his frustration, I remember telling him that, okay, what would you have liked us to do? What are you expecting from social services? How would we have done things differently?
Great question.
Those are the questions that I asked, and I felt that the son who was frustrated and upset, that he was a little bit calmer, and we kind of came into compromising both sides, like, yes, we will offer you this, but what could you also help us with? If the language, if we can't find an interpreter, is there a way that perhaps you could help your mom in certain ways, and we could find? So it was two working together, as opposed to him expecting everything from social services and neglecting his role as a son looking after his mom. Yes, he's saying he's looking after his mom, but he was also coming across a little bit demanding and needing things from us, and us to do everything for him. So providing him a house, providing him carers, providing him equipment, providing him carers who speaks the language, and that was quite tricky to do all of that without him contributing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Nora. What we'll do now, Anita and Candy, will just reflect back a little bit of what we've heard in terms of your motivational skills, motivational interviewing, and particularly thinking about the adults prevention agenda, that is wanting to ensure our customers are enabled in terms of their health and welfare. Thoughts, please? Just let's.
I thought that the fact that Nora asked, "What are your expectations?" Like, what you come to us, and you have a list of demands, and you're frustrated that these needs aren't being met for your mother. But what are you really expecting us to do? Like, deep down, what are you expecting us to do? And I think that possibly made him rethink about what was realistic and what wasn't. What would work for now, what could he do immediately, what could his long-term plan be. And I think it possibly helped him to then devise a strategy about how this would work, how this would go, rather than just, oh, this is happening and I'm feeling like I have no control over the situation and I'm concerned about my mum and, you know, I need to do something, anything. Actually think about what you can actually do, what's actually realistic.
Fantastic.
So it does help somebody to organise their thoughts, I think.
Indeed, and it's an interesting one because the questions are there for a purpose, and you've, I think, described exactly why we use these questions. You've used the word thinking and devising a strategy. And that's all about, in terms of responsibility, what's going on?
I guess he's taking responsibility where he can.
Absolutely.
And then not making other people responsible, but realising where other responsibility can be picked up. And I think that's what we're here for. We do provide a service, but you just have to realise what it is that we can do.
Brilliant. So we remember right at the beginning, we said responsibility can never be dumped. It can't be dumped on the customer, but it certainly can't be dumped on the social services. Those days are gone. And in some ways that's really positive. What you described there is a sharing responsibility, which is assertive, it's still compassionate, but it is assertive. Thank you. Lovely. Kathy, did you want to?
No, I was just going to say, similarly to Anita, it was quite interesting the choice of questions that Nora used. Like, they were all open-ended questions. And again, like what Anita's saying with the whole, it's empowerment for their own care, like taking control of their own care and their own needs. So a lot of the time we find that we're going in and looked at as we're going to be the fixers for these situations, and sometimes, very often, we'll go in and there's actually nothing we can do, just due to their own circumstances. And you know, I don't want to go in and see somebody and be like, actually, sorry, there's nothing I can do, and walk away. But we'll kind of have a discussion to give them the feeling that actually they're taking control of their care, and there are things that they can do to enable them better.
So how did the situation end?
And so we had a telephone conversation, and he at the end agreed his mom to move to the sheltered accommodation into that borough. However, with the condition of using the OT report as well as the social worker. I did discuss with the social worker, the allocated social worker, and did say perhaps it's better if we write, because they can write something about the carers. There is a language issue, and the son has a lot of input in terms of supporting his mom, and he could take that letter to that borough, and sort of perhaps they can give him and his mom 2 bedrooms. So our letter would probably support him in the long term. And also how we ended things were also for him to write things down, and in terms of when the carers are coming, just the the expected things, you know, what does his mom need, and certain words that perhaps that can help the carers, and basic words that can help the carers to say to the mom, like for example, do you want that in that language, and then maybe yes or no she could say. So he did agree to do that as well. So he was cooperating with us, like he was contributing into the intervention that we were doing, rather than just him expecting things from us. Yeah, and while they're looking into finding someone who can do the interpreting, and the social workers have also given him a list of services that perhaps he could find if there is anyone who can speak mom's language, and so there was, at least we've provided a lot of signposting and reports. Wonderful. To support his needs, and he was happy at the end. He did realize after we asked those questions, how would we have done things differently, that perhaps we couldn't have done anything different from what we are already doing. But because he was slightly frustrated, but
it's fantastic. And you've said it ended. He was happy
at the end. Absolutely,
that's so important. Yeah. And I've heard about the power of open questions here and what that's done. Any thoughts? He's happy with that. If I were the director of social services, I think we'd just be really proud of you and all three of you, just how you responded now. This is motivational interviewing. What I'm hearing about is that you care, you're taking the trouble, but you're also caring about resources. And they are not mutually exclusive, because we have responsibilities right across Ealing and regionally and nationally. So well done, and thank you so much.
What was also interesting was, because we normally sit down in an open plan office, and everyone at the end said, because some seniors and OT were sitting down there, and they said, well done, Nora, for using the motivational interview.
Oh,
yeah, they did say that, so I think that helped us, also other people, to recognize that maybe we should use those questions whenever we call them,
That's the
clients,
joy, they really work.
Yeah.
They work in practice. Thank you so much, that's a lovely example. I'll just pause that there.